Hey, welcome to Food News and Chews. Hey, Jeremy, great place, great show.
I know, we're at Town Branch Distillery right here in the heart of downtown Lexington, and there's actually a stream underneath us right now. It was the lifeblood of this whole town back in the day.
Why'd we bury it?
Well, we had Dr. Pearse Lyons on our show. He's telling us all about the history of St. Patrick's Day. Also, he keyed in on our food news.
I love it.
Lots of good stuff on agriculture. And then also, at the end of the show, I've got a nice recipe for Scotch Egg.
To die for.
A nice Irish pub thing for St. Patrick's Day. You guys got to check it out.
Welcome to Kentucky's largest commercial restaurant equipment and supplies store. See Where Superstore is a 15,000 square foot chef's treasure chest.
See Where Superstore is the store for those in the restaurant industry, churches, and catering. Find chefware, large equipment, refrigeration unit, about anything needed for a volume event. See Where Superstore, in business since 1954, offering free local delivery, so come on in and get hooked immediately.
And a complete line of chef apparel. Seaworth Superstore, located at 1403 Versailles Road and seaworthsuperstore.com.
As I travel the world, I get an opportunity to go to the great restaurants of the world. And then I come back to Lexington, Kentucky. And I always go to Chef Ashby's restaurant, Azur's. This year was particularly exciting because he linked up with Peter Elias from the Czech Republic. And they won their first ever Lions Farm International Chef Showcase, the first ever. Winning this is amazing. Winning this using our ingredients, our Lions Farm ingredients, is spectacular. And now, in these high pressure situations that you get in these kitchens, Jeremy is going on to another high pressure situation. And we want to wish him all the best. We're confident that when he goes into the Savor Nashville competition, the state of the bluegrass would be well represented by Jeremy. So Jeremy, good luck to you. Good luck to our friend. Show him how we cook right here in Lexington. Good luck.
Welcome to Food News and Chews, and we have one of my heroes here. He's going to do food news with us. He is the food news man, okay, Jeremy?
He's got lots of insight into this whole ag department, so.
Yeah.
And that's where most of the news is coming from right now.
Yeah. Talk to us about the news. For instance, we have, here's some 3 big stories that came out last week. One's about the drought and the beef shortage, health, the Mediterranean diet, and finally, the horse meat. Horse meat gate.
Horse gate, which is almost donkey gate. Let's talk about.
Oh yeah. Which one do you want to take on first?
Let's take that one first of all. Of course, the French like horse meat, and indeed so do the Italians and so on. But more and more, the supermarkets have been putting pressure on getting the prices down, getting the prices down. And as they put pressure on, get the prices down for we consumers, something has to give. What's given over there is that they've stepped out and they started putting in horse meat, which is fine. Nothing wrong with horse meat so long as you think you're getting horse meat. Yeah. And so they did a number of surveys and checking what they call the DNA, and the DNA will tell you exactly where it came from. And in one case, 91% of the so-called beef.
That was labeled beef.
Oh yeah. 91%. 91%.
So not just a small percent.
No, no, it was 91%. So then as they started to dig a little further, they found, and this is classic government and classic bureaucracy. The European Union stated that, for example, in Romania, there's like 3 or 4 million donkeys and carts. It's a poor country. And so they said, no, you can't have those now on the roads of Europe.
Yeah. So, I remember the donkeys from Europe,
get them
Romania.
off the road.
Uh-oh.
So fine, they're off the road. Now where are we going to go?
What has to do with that?
So
I think I know the end of this story.
Was it horse gate or was it donkey
gate?
But it's huge because there's not a big name, all the established names, and they've all been caught off guard, not because they were necessarily intentionally putting it in, but because the traceability wasn't there, and therefore
they didn't
thought
know their supply chains.
They thought they were getting beef, and they weren't getting beef.
Completely blindsided.
And I think the message is, we have to have total traceability, and we have to have total openness. You need to be able to say, this meat comes from this farm raised by this animal.
That's right. That's right.
I saw, met a young lady in Europe recently, and she was selling potato chips, crisps, and she had on the back of it, she said, you know, this is the farm, this is the field, this is the potato, and this is my dad who actually made those chips and so forth, and now they're in this bag.
And that's something your company, that's what Alltech is very known for, is traceability and transparency. That's an issue with.
It's an issue throughout. It's an issue throughout the food industry, and we call it crisis management. Ronald Reagan used to say, "Don't do anything tonight that you won't want to read about tomorrow morning in the paper."
And some big companies have been
that's easy
implicated.
to say and hard to do, but traceability and quality control. We do not take on a supplier without visiting that supplier, checking out that supplier.
All right, let's talk just a bit about the drought and its impact on, and it continues on. They say it's going to continue on, that the snowfall hasn't been what it should be. So how is the drought impacting on the agricultural business? You got 128 countries you're in. And
well, understand this. It takes about 6 pounds of corn to make a pound of meat. It takes about 4 pounds of corn to make a pound of pork. It takes about 2 pounds to make a pound of chicken. And so if corn prices go up or corn is not available
because of the drought,
and it's not available, then those prices will go up, and raw material prices, your meats, etc., go up. The difficulty with the drought is that we see no end in sight.
No.
And
the snowfalls are not what they should be.
And is that to do with global warming? I don't know. Most scientists will say it is. Some other guys with their head in the sand will say it isn't. But droughts are here to stay. It appears. We have to work around it. We have to find alternatives. And Alltech works very closely in that area.
They do. Let's end our food news segment with health. It just came out that the Mediterranean diet is scientifically proven to be, out of all the multitude of diets out there, to be the best. What do you think? Because I know Alltech is into health and issues relating to health and animal health and a cycle of life. Talk to me about
I don't know why it is, but always the diet that I'm not on is the diet that's healthy for you.
And this one says wine and olive oil is good for you.
Well, that part I'm on. But I've noticed over the last literally month, maybe 6 weeks, more and more emphasis on omega-3 fatty acids. Now, it's very important. Omega-3s, the DHA is the one you're looking for, comes from fish. Omegas actually will come from oil, but if you're looking for that fish twice a week in your restaurant, in Azores, then you need to make sure that fish has DHA, that was fed DHA. And DHA is an antioxidant, very important for the eye, very important for the brain, very important for health and fertility. So the big news, for example, look at Horizon milk, organic milk.
I see that on the shelves.
They used to say omega-3s, not anymore. Now they say DHA, because they're realizing that people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes, as we're saying omega-3s, that comes from flax oil, that comes from linseed oil. It needs to be from fish.
That's even suggested for prenatal nutrition as well, for brain development and for human
important. Oh, absolutely.
There's a lady coming to talk at our symposium, Jeremy, and she's a Chinese lady, just an amazing lady from Louisville. She talks about what you feed the infant through the mother when the infant is in the womb. And if, in fact, you don't feed the right things, that child will have attention deficit, that child will be obese, that child will have diabetes, that child, etc., etc., which is all part of it.
All relates back to nutrition.
All right. Well, we finished with this segment, but we'll be back with Dr. Lyons in the interview segment.
Today's shoppers are informed. When shopping for the family meal, today's shopper chooses Critchfield Meats for fresh, all-natural quality meats guaranteed. Make the right choice and visit our family before you feed yours. Critchfield Meats, the meat specialist, family owned and operated since 1969. That's a grade A choice, folks.
Jeremy, the restaurant startup business is challenging. We should know.
That's right. In business since 1954, See Where Superstore is the place to begin. Reconditioned equipment and the lease to purchase program can get you in and going in no time.
Seaworth, with its dedicated staff, can help you plan with CAD services that provide a successful layout.
Dan and his team will help you fill in the blanks with everything from soft drink machines to exhaust hoods. Come to See Where Superstore and make your dreams come true.
Located at 1403 Versailles Road and SeaworthSuperstore.com.
Welcome back to Food News and Chews, and we're in a magnificent facility, the Town Branch Distillery in the heart of downtown Lexington. It is magnificent, and we're here with Dr. Pearse Lyons, who again is a hero to our world. Let's not confine it to one place. Tell us a little bit about this place.
I think I'll pinch you because this place is a pinching type of place. I mean, it's the first distillery to be built in Lexington in over 100 years. It's the first distillery now to be added to the Bourbon Trail. It's the first distillery to show, for example, open fermenters, wooden fermenters. It's the first distillery to make a malt whiskey in Kentucky for nearly 80 years. And of course, it's the first distillery to truly use the Town Branch water, and hence our name, wherever it is up there, Town Branch. And Town Branch itself is fascinating because J.R. Ewing used to always say, give me a bourbon and Town Branch.
J.R. Ewing on Dallas, right?
Dallas.
On Dallas, Spain.
007. 007, before you were born.
Yep.
In the 70s, 007 in the movie Goldfinger. He flies into the bluegrass and he says to Pussy Galore, who was the pilot, he said, now we'll have the world's finest drink. Go see the movie. And in it he says, give me a bourbon and Town Branch. So we thought the name Town Branch was just a perfect name. It's the river upon which our city was founded. Yeah. It's the river that used to have 9 distilleries on it.
And we hit it from view.
And it's down here.
Yeah, down
the
there.
Lifeblood. Yeah, and it's down here below us. So we are in the Town Branch Distillery, and adjacent to us, of course, is our brewery. And the brewery we've been there for 10 years, and that brewery has just grown and grown and grown. In terms of capacity, brewers talk about barrels of beer. I don't know why they do it, but barrels of beer. And we do about 30,000 barrels of beer over there.
Wow.
And we're planning for a brewery in Lexington, or in Kentucky for sure, which will do 300,000 barrels. And that brewery will be 1/4 the size of Sam Adams. Now, why has that happened? It's happened because the story. It's the story of Kentucky.
Well, in your part, I mean, your Irish background, and you just bring such a brand. And we are Scotch Irish. I mean, that's who we are.
I read an interview that my uncle gave just before he died. And he explained how his great-great-great-granddad was a cooper. And so for 5 or 6 generations on my mum's side, they've all been barrel makers, coopers. And so I grew up literally with the smell of barrels and wooden barrels. And my uncle would see you coming and he would carve out a wooden horse or something, a little toy out of wood. And so to me, cooperage and barrels are sort of been my blood.
Kind of that Kentucky tradition. We're tinkerers and Irish.
Well, we're tinkers. I don't know about being tinkerers, but we're tinkers and we go anywhere we need to go.
Make things and do things.
At the brewery, and in light of maybe the new construction, but isn't there something else brewing at the brewery that's coming up soon, I think?
Yeah.
Or is that too early to tell?
New things brewing?
Or there's new things brewing?
What are we brewing?
Well, I don't know, but maybe you better tell me what's brewing.
We have something coming out, Irish whiskey in 2015.
Well, that's a little different,
All right.
And that in itself is a nice story, because these pot stills behind us were made in Scotland. And they're made in Scotland and they produce bourbon. So when Jim Beam bought the last Irish whiskey Distillery, we decided that we better just do something a little different. So we bought pot stills in Louisville, and we brought them to Ireland, and we are making Irish whiskey as we speak in Ireland. It has, incidentally, no name. Not that it's going to be the no-name whiskey, but we have 3 years during which we have to come up with a name. It could be Azur's famous blend, or on the banks of the Azur, or who knows?
Azur. It rolls off the tongue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a name, and we have 3 years.
Hey, talk about there's a Bless the Brew.
Yes.
And a symposium coming up. You're busy. And a gathering in Dublin.
There's a Bless the Brew. Of course, St. Patrick's Day is coming.
Sure.
And most people don't realize this. St. Patrick was not an Irishman. St. Patrick was actually English, and he was
Burst my bubbles.
Sorry about that. He was born in a little place called Broadway, which is almost where Churchill was born. It's right there in Oxford. And he was taken as a slave over to Ireland, because the Irish used to raid the English. Maybe we should raid them again. But the Irish used to raid England and pick up slaves. And St. Patrick was picked up as a slave, and he was Christian. Escaped, went back to England, and decided that he would bring Christianity to Ireland, St. Patrick, but he was an Englishman. And of course, he's our patron saint.
Sure.
And he did lots of wonderful things. For example, he kicked all those snakes out of Ireland.
I've heard that story.
So I've never seen a snake in Ireland. I've seen two-legged snakes, but I've never seen an actual snake. So he kicked those out, and he got us to wear the green and all that good stuff.
Right.
And as he tried to explain Christianity, he explained it through the shamrock.
Okay.
And that's how that story comes about. He explained the three persons in the one through the shamrock and the Trinity and so forth. But that's St. Patrick's claim to fame. So when he made us Christian, I don't know if he got us to drink our whiskey or created the whiskey. I think we might have done that before. We know St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
We do. How about the symposium that's coming?
Oh, symposium is coming in May, but even more exciting.
Yeah, tell me.
There's a gathering on in Ireland, and it's a gathering of the clans, and the Irish government has put it together. And we have decided to bring some of our chefs from Kentucky over to the gathering. And we've decided to bring bluegrass music over to the gathering, because we talk about bluegrass music in Kentucky. It's actually Irish music. It's not bluegrass music.
It's Irish.
Irish music.
Well, the videos,
so we're going to have a competition.
that I've seen that you've done.
Over there. So lots of exciting things. Yes.
The chieftains. So we're going to have a gathering.
We're going to have a gathering, and that's going to feature all things which connect Kentucky to Ireland. It's going to connect us through our whiskey, through our music.
When is that?
July. Well, it's actually all this year, but our week is in July.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Our singers from the University of Kentucky are going over there.
Oh, I heard that, the competition. That was fantastic. And then, did you cover Bless the Brew downtown?
Well, that's typically, I think it's Larry Heeman, Father Larry, good German priest, and he blesses the brew. I think he doesn't believe that the Irish priest would bless it properly, or maybe they drink it as they bless it.
Well, they're all over in the Vatican choosing a new pope, so we'll have to get a substitute. Well, we've been here today at this beautiful Town Branch Distillery and listening to you tell us. We could go on forever and listen to your stories, and you're quite a story in and of yourself. We want to thank Dr. Lyons for being with us here today.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. It's always enlightening.
A European experience without leaving Lexington at Azur Restaurant and Patio. For lunch or dinner, enjoy excellent service and truly unique cuisine that will delight your senses. Unwind with award-winning cocktails or conduct business over a memorable meal. Every occasion is special at Azur Restaurant and Patio, located off Harrisburg Road in the Beaumont Center.
Hello, my name is Bob. Recently, I switched my business phone service to Telecom. Now I'm saving over 50% on my monthly phone bills, over $2,000 a year. And I have a PBX phone system that would have cost me over $10,000. Unlimited calling to the US and Canada with no long distance charges. If you want to put money back in your wallet, call Telecom today.
Call Telecom at 888-428-0984. 888-428-0984.
Scottish hens are laying.
That's
I'll stop, I promise.
No, it's so appropriate.
Yeah, Dr. Lyons, is he something?
Blow your mind every time, right? Yeah.
I know, but in honor of St. Patty's Day,
Right.
what are you going to do for us here today?
Well, this is a dish you find in most traditional Irish pubs. So this is a Scotch egg, and I guess it's really not an Irish dish, it's a Scotch dish.
We're Scotch-Irish.
And the first time I saw this, I was just like, what's going on here? I don't really understand it.
I'm
Because it is kind of
intrigued.
weird, but I ate one, it's delicious. I encourage you guys to try it at home because it's kind of peasant food, it's cheap, it's really fun. So Italian sausage.
Yeah, okay.
Got a couple of piles of it here. This is Vito's Italian sausage. It's Kentucky proud, made here, old family recipe. I love this stuff. See, Vito's Italian sausage. I love using that. Now notice I've got these little piles of sausage on a saran wrap. And the point behind that is we have to flatten this out into a disc we can wrap.
Yeah, Vito's out choosing a new pope, by the way.
So we're going to take another piece of plastic and put it over the sausage.
This is interesting.
It is interesting. Now,
Okay.
push it down into a
can
large.
I do one?
Yeah, you do one. Now push into a large disc that'll wrap around an egg.
Ooh, this is like Play-Doh.
Yeah, that's kind of like playing in the mud as a kid, isn't it? Now, if I can find where these two are, separate.
Do they teach you that in culinary school?
Right. We'll take the top layer off, right?
I can't do that with my saran wrap things.
There we go.
There we go.
And then I've got actually it's a soft-boiled egg. I didn't cook them all the way through. There's a difference between a hard-boiled egg and a soft-boiled egg. The yolk in here is still a little bit on the, yellow runny side because I like it a little bit juicy. So we'll put the egg here, and guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna wrap the sausage around the egg. So hop on in, use your saran wrap to your advantage to kind of roll it over. And this doesn't have to be extremely pretty, just kind of, once you get it around there, smush it together.
I don't cook. You could have had 50 eggs rolled up before I get this one little guy covered up.
51.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, you did great. Now, once you have that in a ball, just kind of make sure it goes all the way around, right?
Yeah.
Now, the next process we do is called penne, and it means flour, egg wash, or it means to coat something or bread it. And it's very simple. You want to set up a little station where you have flour, a little bit of beaten egg, and some breadcrumbs. I prefer panko because it's really crispy on a dish like this.
Okay.
So we'll flour the outside nicely.
I think I can handle it.
Yep. Now, notice I'm using both hands. This one is my dry hand, and this one's going to be my wet hand. Notice how it's getting wet. If you keep them separate, you don't end up with big biscuits on your fingers.
They teach you that in culinary school.
They do, and they yell at you about it because it's such a time-consuming thing to get cleaned up.
But the final test is flipping stuff, right?
Right. So we're going to roll this around in the panko, coat it nicely,
Hey,
and there's one that's ready to go. I'll put it in there and wait.
Is mine good enough?
That is. Now, with the other... there you go. Now, roll it around. Now that hand's getting wet.
Yeah.
Now
what
drop
I do,
it in there and use your dry hand to roll it. Dry hand. There you go.
I can't walk and chew gum at the same time,
Right.
much less of this.
So you've got that rolling, Sylvia. The eggs are kind of coated.
I'm rolling.
I want to make a vinaigrette
rolling,
with
rolling.
this because we're going to put this with a salad. And since we talked to Alltech and Pearse Lyons, we're going to use Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale.
Good stuff. Good
We're going to make a beer vinaigrette, an ale vinaigrette. It's perfect for St. Patty's Day and Irish fare. So in a skillet or in a pot, we're going to have a little fresh thyme and garlic, the Bourbon Barrel Ale.
Now you're cooking.
And then I'm going to use mustard seeds, as you see, and a good amount of them.
Now what do those bring? Just like mustard taste?
And and they bring this, once they hydrate, they bring this interesting little pop, kind of like a poppy seed.
Okay.
It's a really neat thing, and a little caraway. That's got that, rye bread flavor to it. Just a little bit of that.
The smells of this stuff. You do amazing things.
It's
with
very
aroma.
Yeah, isn't that nice? So this will go on the skillet to reduce down, and these will go into some oil to fry.
All right, Jeremy, what's going on here?
The aromas of Kentucky Bourbon Barrel
good.
Ale are rolling out of here.
Woozy, just
I know, fresh thyme. I've got a garlic clove in there too. The idea behind this is we're intensifying the flavors, so the juice is going to reduce, and then we can whisk in the oil and some sorghum and make it really taste really good for a vinaigrette.
Okay.
Over here, though, we've got our
balls,
heating oil, and our balls,
sausage,
our meat.
Egg balls.
Yeah, egg balls.
Sausage balls.
So Scotch eggs. And all we're going to do is take them and throw them into the hot oil, which is ready to fry. And we'll kind of flip and turn these as they get brown, but the idea, the egg's already cooked, okay? We just got to warm it up on the inside. And the sausage is just got to cook, and that's it. So you're just browning these.
Let's go to Ireland and just do a
a food truck.
Test.
Yeah.
A food truck.
Outside of a pub.
All right, we've cooked our balls.
We perfectly toasted our balls.
Balls.
Scottish eggs. They're wrapped in sausage, and they're beautifully browned and ready to go. So we'll make our little accompaniments for this. The beer is glazed down to just a little bit of syrup. And we'll pour that into a mixing bowl. Yeah, it does. It's very intense.
You did a good beer.
See the mustard seeds in there, the garlic, the thyme's infused. So now we're going to make a quick vinaigrette. I'm going to add some sorghum.
Good old Owensboro sorghum.
Good old stuff. And this is different than molasses. Sorghum's totally different, but so good.
Yeah. What is
And this is going to take the bitterness out of the beer.
Sorghum comes from what?
It's actually a sorghum plant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's a whole show behind that, but we got to do it sometime.
Do that sorghum.
Right.
Rona.
Whisk in some good olive oil.
I'll hold your ball.
Thank you very much.
Anytime I'll hold
One
your
direction's always good. It kind of helps emulsify it. And then don't forget to use a little bit of salt. So anyway, your little vinaigrette you want to dress some greens with. Make a nice little salad for a base for these eggs.
It's all going to come together.
Now, dress your greens.
Yeah.
Get ready for your presentation. Nice little salad in a pile. And then the Scotch eggs, let's see the moment of truth, how they look inside. I want to cut these guys in half because, the presentation's so cool. My yolk kind of fell out, but we'll put that back in.
Oh, but that's perfectly cooked.
Yeah, and see how the yolk is just still a little bit yellow. That's how you like it. It's not that dry.
Not completely hard and dry.
Once again, we'll go right through the middle.
Now, we're just going to have to go to Ireland and teach those folks how to do these right.
That's right. Now, the last thing is I like to use honey mustard as a sauce for these. But more importantly, I'm going to put some smoked paprika in there for this nice smoky, earthy flavor. And this is Matt Jamie's paprika from Bourbon Barrel Foods out of Louisville. Awesome stuff. I use a lot of it. And just a little bit of honey mustard.
It's spicy, right?
It's got a spice to it, but that smoke is just so rich. And it's going to be awesome with the sausage. So we'll dress these guys up and put some on the side for dipping. You can dress
them up.
And that's a mean Scotch egg right there.
That is beautiful.
Scotch eggs, beer vinaigrette, smoked paprika, honey mustard dipping sauce.
Thank you, Dr. Lyons, for the beer.
Yeah,
that was a kick.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and happy St. Patrick's Day. You've been listening to Food News and Chews. See you next week.